There is no denying that 2020 was one of the most difficult years of our lives. Businesses closed, jobs were lost, sickness spread throughout the world, and we lost something of value that we perhaps never realized that we could lose: the simple ability to be together, to be separated from our friends and family, to be forced to isolate in hopes of returning to a normal life. For musicians, this transition left many of us lost, afraid, and helpless. How are we expected to share our music and art with one another while staying at a 6-foot radius? And what is my role as a musician during this pandemic? It may have been tough, but even with all the rules, regulations, and restrictions, musicians made it their mission to be symbols of hope during this pandemic. How did music help us survive this pandemic? Well, not long after the initial lockdown was put into place and Americans were told to stay in their homes until they could get a better handle on the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus, musicians had already begun finding new and creative ways to share their music with the world. Never in my lifetime have I seen more people sharing recordings of themselves playing, singing, and making videos of themselves playing multiple parts at one time. It was amazing. And after the recordings, musicians thought to themselves, if I can't perform live, what's the next best thing? And to many, the next best thing turned out to be doing live streams of people playing music. Some of these were extravagant productions put on by professionals with top-notch recording equipment, and others were just musicians with a smartphone and a Facebook account. But it didn't matter. The point was that music was being made and the art was being shared. After sharing our own music with the world, we decided that we wanted to attempt something a little trickier: virtual ensembles. To me, one of the coolest things that came out of living in a world with a pandemic was the creation of virtual ensembles. In these ensembles, musicians would play or sing their own part, send in a recording, and then have someone edit the parts together to create a virtual performance. Depending on how many people were involved, this was an extremely ambitious endeavor for anyone to pursue. However, with enough practice, a good editing software, and dedicated musicians, even this became a reality. The next thing you know, thousands of ensembles, colleges, high schools, and even just ordinary people are putting together these virtual performances with more than just themselves. It didn't matter if there were 2 people performing or 200. Together, we had found a way to make music together and give us that hope that we had been missing. As great as an accomplishment all of this was, we weren't always successful in keeping our spirits alive through music. The power of music is a very powerful thing. It can bring the light from the dark and make us see the best in bad situations. But the truth is, though, the impact that this pandemic made on the mental health of millions of people cannot be over-exaggerated. Depression was, and is, a strong adversary, and unfortunately, it often won the lives that music was unable to save. The hardships that we have endured as a nation and as a world extend much further than the physical sickness that we saw and continue to see. Finding ways to maintain our fellowship with one another and not lose hope is how we become victorious. Even though we might have had our setbacks, we haven't lost. We are still here. We are still living and breathing and trying every day to bring joy into our lives and the lives of those that we care about through music. We remember those that we've lost, both to the pandemic and to the external effects of the pandemic. But we also look to the future and recognize that we still have the power to promote well-being and encouragement with our music. And if we remember this, then there's no way we can lose. I am sure that in 10 years, there will be thousands of stories that we can tell each other about how we survived the global pandemic of 2020. And I'm looking forward to when musicians can be back together without fear and perform music without being 10 feet away from each other. But let us remember that we have already made it this far. We have been successful in using music to benefit our lives and keep our spirits high. To all musicians, don't ever stop sharing your art with the world, because the world still needs it, and we will always need it.